Hi guys, so this is my contribution to the It Gets Better project. First of all, and there are no words to describe how grateful I am, and I think all the contributors are, to Dan Savage and to his partner and to all the other wonderful people behind this project who have made this entire movement possible. It is needed now more than ever before. We have teens who are finding themselves in such desperation that suicide seems to be the only option out, and that does come from a lack of knowledge that it does get better. So, yeah, here's my story. I'm 24. I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I was born in Guyana in South America, and my parents moved here when I was 10. We lived in Europe for a little while, and so now I'm mostly located in Toronto, went to school in a different city. But, yeah, I can't sit before you and say that I had a negative high school experience. I had a rough high school experience, but it wasn't overall negative. I grew at a really early age. I hit 6'3" when I was about maybe 15. And I weighed about 210 pounds in high school, so I was a pretty big boy. So a lot of people would think twice before picking on me. And I had a decent support group. But between grades 9, 10, and 11, I was incredibly angry. I thank my friends so much for staying with me during those years, and I'm still ridiculously good friends with those high school individuals that were brave enough to stand with me through the spells of anger and telling off people and just being mean, because I didn't know what it meant to be gay. I didn't know what was going on inside. I thought I was confused, I was angry at the world, and no one knew, or I felt that no one knew what I was going through. I felt my experience was solitary, and I felt that nothing out there could help me get over the anger, could help me understand, could help me come to terms with what was going on inside me. And so I think I was about 14, and there's a couple doctors in my family, and so having been exposed to the medical community since birth, by virtue of my relatives, I figured that, well, around 13, about 11 to 13, somewhere in that 2-year period, I realized that I like boys more so than I like girls, and I didn't know that that's what it meant to be gay. I figured there'd be a lot more to it than that, but apparently that's the gist that my mind came to, that I just like boys and it's wrong and it'll never be accepted, and I'm going to die alone and no one will like me. I'll have no friends. The myth of good chance of me getting HIV, that's what I thought would happen to me. Drug addiction, that was another thing that was being thrown in my face. So in terms of potential outcomes if you should choose to pursue this lifestyle, this aberrant lifestyle. So about 14 years old, I contacted a plastic surgeon and by email, and I said, I have very feminine tendencies. I have a higher pitched voice. I'm a flamer, for lack of a better word. I didn't think I actually used that word then, but if we're going to kind of cut through the crap, let's just use that one. How do I go about fixing this? I'd like hormone injections to make me more manly. Now, obviously having read at that time, I think the hormone replacement therapy was under scrutiny, and I think probably watching like the news or 2020 or something, I kind of saw, oh, maybe that's an option for Pete, and maybe that's something that I could look into. And no. Luckily, and only by the grace of God, this plastic surgeon actually responded to me. I told him how old I was, and he responded and told me to speak with my family doctor, that there was a lot of issues that I had to work through before I could even consider doing what I wanted to do, and that there was a good chance that I didn't need them. Now, I was more so angry and confused by that email. I said, thanks, you're supposed to be a doctor, way to help me. And just kind of continued on. I came out in my last year of high school. Grades 9, 10, 11, I was so mean and so angry and so rude because I didn't know how to handle what was going on inside me. I didn't know how to come to terms with what it meant to be gay, that when I finally came out in grade 12, my best friend at the time, who was a girl, thought that I was madly in love with her because I suddenly was nice. That summer, I realized that this is who I am. The summer before grade 12, I realized this is who I am. It's not going to change. There's nothing wrong with it. Screw the world if they think that there's something wrong with it. And I know that I'll be fine. And And that was the realization that I went to. And I went back to high school in grade 12 and bright and beaming. And yeah, my best friend thought that I had fallen for her because she was like, you were never that nice. Just, I thought you were, And I started coming out in grade 12. And I realized the second I came out, the second I decided that the hell with what anyone else thinks. The hell with what people who want to judge me, who want to cast me aside, who want to tell me that I can't achieve anything, that there's no hope for your future, you'll never be a parent, you'll dishonor your family and all that jazz. All those people were wrong. When I finally started coming out and I realized that they were wrong, it was the most liberating experience of my life. Now that was my friends. Telling my family was a bit different. And I think that's why I'm making this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Caribbean. I'm Guyanese. The Caribbean is a hotbed for homophobia. I'm sorry, I hope that doesn't come across as racist or trying to categorize everyone in a rather stereotypical way who does come from the Caribbean. Of course there are people who are tolerant. Of course there's movements. Of course there are organizations that are now trying to change things. But brass tacks and nails, when we get down to it, it's a very homophobic society. So having to tell my parents that their only son was gay was a big deal. My parents didn't handle it well, and I kind of freaked out a little. We had a bad relationship for about a year, but things got better after that. I refused to compromise. My mom realized that it's not a phase that the boy is going through. This is actually who he is. And now my parents are tolerant and accepting and loving. Tolerant's the wrong word. My parents are accepting and loving of who I am and of what I've grown up to be. It gets better. It usually just takes time, guys. High school it may seem like the end of the world, whether you're 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, however old you are, high school may seem like the end of the world. I remember the drama. I remember the locker politics. I remember the best friend gossip. I remember all of that. But what I do remember was that in grades 9, 10, and 11, I was miserable. I hated every moment of my life. Excuse me. And I hated me. But it gets so much better. It sounds like such a pithy thing to say, and I know that there's a good chance that if you are a 14-year-old boy that gets the crap beaten out of him every day, and you're looking at me saying these things, that it may sound like empty pleasantries or just a bunch of garbage that I'm saying because everyone else in this list has said it, but believe me, guys, it gets so much better. I remember thinking, like I said, the only options I had was that no one would like me, I would never achieve anything, I'd never grow up to be what I wanted to be, I'd have to be something that, work in retail, I'd have to, not that there's anything wrong with that, I put myself through school working in retail, but do you know what I mean? I'd have to go into a profession that was considered gay or anything along those lines, and I know that's stereotypical thinking, but that's what I had. That's the only options that I had in my mind, was the stereotypical thinking. I grew up to go to university, I'm an astrophysicist now, I had the most amazing support group with my professors and my friends and my family, but it takes time and it gets better. I know you're 14 or 15 or however old, but think. You've been around for 14 years. There's decades upon decades upon decades of time left. And for you, it will get better. For me, it got better. My friends were supportive. My family was loving, is loving. And I grew up to be exactly what I wanted to be, happy. It doesn't seem like that's possible right now, guys. But it really is. And another thing, parents and friends and teachers and doctors who are watching these videos and thinking that's really nice that they're having this project and it's really good that they can actually get the word out. You, parents, teachers, friends, doctors, you are what makes it better. Our happiness lies in your hands. At the age of 14, what your friends say, what the people in authority say, what your parents say, that means the world to you. So heterosexual support group that's watching this right now and thinking, how can I help? How can I make the situation better? How can I prevent another Tyler Clementi? Let us know that it's okay. Let those in your life know who may happen to be gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer, in any nature. Let them know that it gets better. Let them know that it's okay. And let them know that you love them. And let us know, just let us know at a tender young age that thanks to hard work, perseverance, and belief in yourself, guys, it gets a lot better. Believe me. That's all I can say. Good luck and Godspeed.